What's going on, everyone? I'm working with the Tesla twins this morning, and I just wanted to jump in. On my podcast, I'm gonna talk about the daily detail tip is gonna talk about these gloves that I'm wearing. Here's the box. I picked this one up from my local hardware store, but you could actually get them on Amazon for like under 10 bucks usually for a box of 100. I'm wearing a size large. They fit pretty nice. I noticed the mediums are a little bit too snug for sizing reference. Extra large is okay. If you're gonna err on one side, you should go larger. But I love these gloves for multiple reasons, and you don't have to get black. Black looks kind of cool, but also there's the cheaper Costco ones, but I just feel like those aren't as durable. These ones, though they're meant to be one-time uses, you can usually use them multiple times if you're relatively careful. So generally what I use these for is when I'm detailing cars and doing rims, because I don't want to get dirt all up in my nails and hands dirty and stuff like that. But there's more uses for these, and actually I teamed up with another detailer who always used gloves when he did interiors, and I thought, what does it matter if you use gloves on the interiors? Why are you doing that? And he goes, well, a lot of times I'm reaching underneath the seat. A lot of times I'm, reaching in areas I'm dealing in people's cars that I don't know. Maybe they're sick, maybe they've been sick. And so if you think about it, it makes a lot of sense. When you go to the doctor for any reason, they're usually gonna throw on gloves because it's a barrier, a protection between their hands, their immune system, and you, whatever you got going on, right? So the same could be said for detailers. We're in these cars all the time. Who knows what these people do in their cars? Who knows what's underneath their seats in their cars? All that. So there's a lot of uses. There's a lot more uses for gloves in the form of protection, not only from dirt, but also what you may encounter on the inside of the vehicle. Obviously outside. And then for days like today, I'm not dealing with, it's not really cold out, but it's a little chillier and my hands are in buckets. Again, another barrier from the cold water in the bucket and my hands. It's not as good, it's not gonna work if it's snowing outside or anything like that, but just a little layer of protection. They're not super thick, so your grab is still there. If you have the iPhone 10, you don't have to worry about the thumbprint thing, so that's cool. It doesn't work if you need the thumbprint on your phone or whatever. If you're applying dressing or coating or anything like that, again, the whole thought is a barrier between your skin and whatever you're dealing with. So more uses. I used to only use these for the rims until I dealt with that other detailer that always used them for the interiors. And again, we need to really start having this conversation in the detail industry with personal protection, because we're dealing with all these elements that we don't necessarily even know what we're dealing with. So I highly suggest picking up a box of these gloves. Again, a box of 100 for, I think they're under 10 bucks. I paid a little bit more because I went to my local hardware store. I think I paid 15, but they really last forever. You could get them at Home Depot. Costco, again, has the like tan looking ones. I don't like those because they don't seem to be as durable. I don't like reusing gloves because my hands sweat in these, and so I've messed with reusable gloves, and after a period of time they just kind of junk up and get kind of moldy and gross on the inside. So I do like the throwaway gloves. The most amount of times I'll reuse these is usually twice, and then I toss them. So again, keep yourself protected, whether you're doing on the inside of the car, the outside of the car. If you're doing on high-end cars like these behind me, they spit off a lot of brake dust, Mercedes, BMWs, stuff like that. I'm doing it in the client's driveway, so it'd be kind of weird if they came out and I was like recording a video or whatever. So I highly suggest that. I've used the gloves all morning on these two cars as I wash them to keep my hands warm, but then on the inside I'm going to use them also for dog hair. I have the pet brush, but also sometimes what works, if you drag your hand with the gloves on, sometimes it picks up the dog hair or human hair. Again, if you're dealing with human hair, you really don't want to be touching that with your own hands, so I highly suggest gloves. I mean, when I was thinking about doing this video, I started thinking about all the uses for gloves, and it just became endless, and I'm like, you know what, it's grossing me out how many things could happen if you don't wear gloves. So just wear gloves. How about that? So hope you guys enjoyed this quick tip. Subscribe to the channel, subscribe to my podcast. You can learn more at autodetailingpodcast.com. Keep yourself protected. You never know what's out there.